All right. What's going on? See, it's a little brighter when I have it on white. I could probably turn it down a little bit, though. That might be better. Now it's out of focus. Focus. There you go. What's going on? It's Friday. Besides, really cold. Put stuff in the chat room. Feel free to join. Questions, comments, leave them. Today's Friday. Thank God. Friday, what? January 23rd. Go Broncos. Let's see what happens with that. Since the Bears blew it again. No fault of Caleb Williams, though. Well, yeah, I'm going to say no. Anyway, that's where I'm from originally, Chicago. So it comes out. It will come out. I'm not going to apologize for it. However, I'm going to apologize if I do offend people because it's not my intention. And there goes my dog. Or one of them. So hopefully you listened to the episode yesterday. You have to act like I'm on the beach here, man. Regarding things to do and prepare as a business owner, operator, service technician, and a customer, or homeowner, or facilities manager, or property manager, or whatever. All suggestions for you. I'm afraid to click on stuff here. Oh, there we go. I am so impressed with this OBS. Learn as I go. On Linux Mint. All for free. All of it. The OS, everything. Highly recommend. Okay, so today we're going to talk about, since I got time, and since you have to be an Eskimo outside, I think it's 14 degrees. I got Fox weather on here in the back, and they're showing temperatures of tomorrow. It's 0, -16 in Waterton, Buffalo, New York, -10. Not showing Chicago, but now they're showing -10 on Sunday at 6 a.m. Air temperature. 24 degrees down in Charleston, South Carolina, or North Carolina, one of the two. And single digits in Nashville, where my son is. So, but he's used to this stuff because he's from Chicago. And I'm not going to dive into that again. But what I'm going to talk about is, it is imperative, at least this is what we're going to do. We're going to play Mr. Rogers, sure. And this is my neighborhood. And you're working for me. Okay? I'm your boss in our neighborhood. So that's what we're going to do. Okay? So here we go. Today we're going to talk about safety, kids. Sure we are. And you want to be safe. Of course you do. And it's the utmost importance so perceived or put out there by a lot of companies right now, especially if you're a really big service company. Service videos, this and that, cameras in the truck, blah, 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 whatever. This is what I'm going to say to business owners, service managers, CEOs, CFOs, because you're the one that's got to explain the costs and keep them down, I guess, no matter how you do that. And this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to make a suggestion. One, I'm going to make more, but one will cut your accidents by a minimum of 25%, maybe 50%. One thing, and it ain't going to cost you a dime. So here again, I'm trying to help and save people money without spending money. You will have to spend money in some instances, but in this one, that one suggestion, which I'll point it out when I bring it up, you won't have to. It's just going to take, God forbid, a face-to-face in the same room service meeting with your technicians. Ooh, no, we can't do that. No, you better. All right. So what I'm going to first touch on that I didn't touch on yesterday, which I really can't believe it's really important, are heat pumps. Now, I'm a disruptor. I'm a disruptor of the disruptors and all this kind of stuff. So that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not trying to be popular, liked, but I'm not trying to be disliked or hated or unpopular. I'm just telling you what I know. And what I know and what I've experienced in 43 years, 20 of that being a business owner, this is my experience and my knowledge, okay? Might not be yours. What's even worse is people are doing things with no knowledge and experience because they have the title of whatever in a corporation and they tell you what to do. I don't get it. I would never buy a race car team, football team. I would never buy a brokerage or even a private equity firm or anything Elon Musk's Starlink or SpaceX or yada, yada, yada. I'd never buy a hospital. I'd never buy a restaurant. I would never buy something just because I see a P&L and go, holy shit, look at this ROI we can get. And there's a better way of doing it. And that way is by micromanaging, although we're not micromanaging. I'm on a rant. We're not micromanaging, but the software will do that, but they're never going to know. Redundant, ridiculous, non-workflow things that waste time. Not to mention, you have jobs now, and I'll do a whole nother podcast, not podcast, but video on this. You don't have a job anymore as a technician. You have jobs, okay? When it goes past the realm of driving the truck to the customer's location, diagnosing it, the most paperwork you should do is your service ticket and fill out an estimate sheet so you can get it to the shop so they can do the procurement of the parts, and then that's their business. You go on to the next call. That's a service technician. Procurement of parts, doing estimates, invoicing, your truck stock on a weekly basis, yada, yada, yada. That's not your job. That's someone else's job, and now you have their job. Jobs. You're doing jobs. Okay? So, I just have to touch that because that's not status quo or what they're trying to do by changing this industry. You can't buy a football field and buy, I'm not even going to pick on a team because I'm not picking on them, but buy an NFL team and go, oh, well, look at, the second string guys and third strings are just sitting around. They can go run the concession stand. And you know what? After the game's over, the whole team can go clean the toilets and pick up the garbage off the field and empty the trash and do the dishes and wash and wax the bus. I mean, yeah, they could, but that's not their job. Yeah, but look, we'll be saving all this money and all these jobs and get rid of these people, and they can do it because they're already there. Doesn't work that way. You have a job as a service technician, And then the responsibilities and duties is what I said. Okay? It's enough. So I'm going to talk about heat pumps because of the cold weather. I got to get back on track with why I'm doing this. And it's because I'm sharing. And I'm letting you know how things are. And sharing by my perspective. And sharing how to make them better. Not worse. So heat pumps. Okay. When I went to school, when I got into this industry, my refrigeration or air conditioning, this would be air conditioning, but I know refrigeration and air conditioning, so it's essentially the same, but not. All right, just there you go. And my instructor, Bob Smith at Elgin Community College, wrote out in an engineering formula, algebraic if I remember, showing beyond a doubt, proving that heat pumps do not work below 20 degrees ambient. For the simple fact that there's not enough heat in the air. Now, this is air heat pumps, not ground heat pumps or geothermal or whatever the fancy name is for them. Air, just sitting out in the back of your apartment, garage, atop of your building, wherever, backyard. Heat pumps do not work below 20. Some people will tell you they don't work below 32 degrees, although they're not as common as they used to be because everybody's retiring and getting out of this industry, which I don't blame them. Or you'll get people that go, oh, that's a bunch of horse shit. They work all the way down to 0. Okay, you know what? So I only can speak for me. I will never own a heat pump. Even when I was in Nashville and it got below freezing, I noticed a big difference in the Goodman, nothing against them, great equipment, but the Goodman heat pump could not keep up with the continually cold weather that eventually made it below freezing. So the auxiliary heat popped in. The auxiliary heat is electric, resistive. My dog's crying for some reason. I don't know. Probably don't want to hear me. It's like, I've heard this before. I don't want to hear it no more. Don't blame me. I don't either, actually. So you people that have heat pumps are going to be in trouble. Am I trying to scare you or this or that or anything else? No. I'm just telling you. Any state that's close to the Mason-Dixon line or north and mandates eventually all gas-fired, natural gas, propane, whatever, is going to be outlawed are insane. Insane. Maya, lay down. Lay down. I don't know. She might have to go up the stairs. Hang on a minute. Do you have to go upstairs? Come on. Go. Come on. Go. Come on. Come here. Here you go. Go on. Go upstairs now. Go on. All right. Nobody in the chat room yet. I mean, it's just going to take time. Look at that. I messed up my hair now. Kind of. I will never own a heat pump. Ever. Period. I just won't. I won't do it. I'll put fireplaces in. I may have an electric boiler with hydronic heat. But as far as my heating demands and concerns or whatever, I'll never own a heat pump because they don't work. They start losing their efficiency at 20 degrees ambient and continue to drop the colder it gets. And the more time that it's below freezing in days, 3, 4, 5, 7 days, whatever, you're going to lose more heat and heat and heat. And then the auxiliary heat's going to kick on. And you ain't lived until you seen your house being heated by forced air electric resistive heat. Be prepared for a $400 electric bill minimum. Okay, I was going to tell you, but they don't tell you that. Oh, you'll get this rebate and all this crap. I own an electric car. I own an electric car. Okay, so I'm not a hypocrite. All right? But I know what works and don't work, and I know this for a fact, that this doesn't work. You're much better off with the natural gas, or if you can't get that, ran to your residence or business, LP, get a pig, get a tank, do something. You're much better off with a 90-plus furnace for reliable, efficient heat. I don't care what AI says. I don't care what anybody says. I'm telling you. It's a fact. Okay? I've seen it. It was proven to me mathematically, so there's the science. I'm not listening to salesmen or even manufacturers. I'm not partnering with manufacturers probably ever again, because that doesn't seem to work out either. Once you partner with them and you sell their stuff, especially if it's a big account like, I don't know, say Buffalo Wild Wings, and their ice machines in there, they say bye-bye. Bye-bye. They don't even kiss you. Bye-bye. So I'm not going to recommend equipment or partner with anybody. However, I will say what I like and what I recommend. Man, I'm peeking out that meter pretty good. I'll back off the mic a little bit. And what I would do. And that's all I'm going to say. And I don't get a dime out of anybody. And I don't want a dime out of anybody for referral or whatever. Commission, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So, if it was me and I had to replace my furnace and air conditioner and it was natural gas, that's what would go back in. I don't care what's going on, what the rebates are, anything else, because it's going to cost me an arm and a leg if it gets below 20 degrees for 3 consecutive days minimum in a month. And I don't want a $400 or $500 electric bill. Just telling you. If you're lucky enough to get your house up to 73. All right, so now this is going to get back into safety, because that was kind of a thing I forgot about yesterday, was the heat pumps. Safety, okay? So, again, you're working for me. We got a safety program. The way it is now, I would never do it. I would never make you watch videos on your own time and take a test and all this bullshit just for cheaper premiums and compliance for the insurance company, because the multiplier for this industry, second to sheet metal, which is this industry, but where I'm from in Chicago, you got tin knockers and electricians and HVAC guys and refrigeration guys, food service guys. There's all these different titles, and that's their job. So, if you're a tin knocker and an HVAC guy, it's pretty rare. At least back there. Around here, it's pretty common. But the highest multiplier in a trade is for sheet metal. Used to be. Could have changed. Second is HVAC, and I think third could be electrician, whatever. So in order to get the multiplier down, the only thing that increases multipliers is workman's comp claims. People getting hurt. So one would think, just really a shocker, that you would try to be proactive and prevent people from getting hurt. So how do you do that? Well, let's just use examples, or an example of whatever. Like, you want to ride a motocross bike, okay? But you can get hurt, and chances are it's pretty good. So what would you do to make sure that you could minimize all the risks of getting hurt on a motorcycle? Well, number one is don't get on it, right? Wear a helmet, wear protective gear, take some motocross riding lessons, ride with other people. Don't override or ride in a over-challenging track that is above your ability at the time, right? Isn't that what you do things like that, right? Can we agree on that? Okay. Well, I'm going to say to you, here's a bunch of videos on how to ride a motocross bike. And that's going to keep you safe. It is? Oh. Well, hell, if I would have known that, I would be watching videos on everything that is a high risk. But that doesn't do anything because there's no action taken for you to go through the learning curve to know what works and what doesn't to minimize the risk of getting hurt. Like driving a vehicle, climbing on a roof, using a torch, working at heights, blah, 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 working with electricity. You can read and watch all the videos in the world, and it is not going to be as effective as if we tell you and put you in situations like a classroom or in the real world working on this stuff. Okay? Right? Like, for instance, an OSHA 10 card, OSHA 20 card. Oh, if there is such a thing. Oh, 30. I got my 10. I got my OSHA 10 card. I don't know if I have to. I don't have my wallet. Or wait a minute. No, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. I don't know if that's in here, though. I think it is. I got my OSHA 10 card, and all my guys, we got certified in the same class on the same day. Is this it? Yeah. OSHA 10. Right there. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. It's close enough, maybe. I don't know. There you go. Whatever. It's enough of a glimpse to prove it. Is there money in here? Oh, don't you love that when you look in something and you find some frickin' money? Look at that. It's going to go in the vacation bottle right now. So it would stand to reason that we would get you some certifications, which, I'm not a huge fan of, although, they're not a bad idea, but they're not a answer or fits all to anything in this industry. Because when it comes down to it, your certifications ain't going to do a goddamn thing for you. Trust me. Especially in this cold. It says you can do something. I can work on this. I got my OSHA 10. I got my EPA. I got my Safesa. I got my Manitowoc certificate. I got all this crap. It says I can fix it. All right. Fix it. 20 below zero, because it's broke. Well, gee, I don't remember this part in seminar shit. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. You could take all the certifications and all the classes and watch all the videos to be safe in this industry, and it isn't going to do jack shit. And in fact, with the videos I've seen and everything else, they don't give you the things that you need per se to be safe, or they don't enforce it. They'll send you places somewhere. It's like, fuck, that ain't safe. Well, okay, get up there. You got to do it anyway. It's your job. Or jobs. Forgot that. Jobs. It's your jobs. So one thing that is a big, huge, probably one of the biggest things for service technicians is to do your service safety videos. And more importantly, your driving videos. Okay, makes sense. I'll do it. I mean, that's fine. You get a ticket, you got to go to traffic school and learn how to drive, I guess. Here's the thing, though. If licensing and licenses and all that, you have a license, driver's license, license to do business, license to practice law, be a doctor, does that mean you know what you're doing? For instance, you're driving a car and you have a license, so that means you know how to drive, correct? No. you get a license being a doctor. Does that mean you know what you're doing? No, it says you have a license to practice medicine, and so on and so on and so forth. So a license doesn't mean carte blanche that you're a professional and you're an expert. It's a document or a card that says you can do whatever it says. Doesn't mean you know what you're doing. Okay? So, it is being pounded and just got to do your safety classes, got to watch your videos on driving, do this, do that, how to use a ladder correctly, all this horse shit. Which is the next bullet I got on ladders. But this is about driving in the right of way, okay? So listen up, because when I started this episode, I said, I'm going to tell owners, operators, whoever, that just by this one suggestion, you're going to save 25 to 50%. You're going to have a 25 to 50% reduction in accidents within 6 months to a year, because it takes time. Okay. Not going to cost you a penny. There's no stupid ass videos. There's none of this. There's no certifications, no driving schools, anything. This is what it is. Okay. Now, in most states, I think, I don't know. I mean, I know Florida, I think Illinois, I know for a fact. Colorado, I think I know. And here's what it is. Most states, when you're driving a vehicle, you have the right of way, correct? Right? You have the right of way. So if you get in an accident and the officer and the insurance company and whatever determines that, yes, Tim, you did have the right of way, it's the other person's fault, right? Right? I mean, right? Am I good? Okay. Okay. Here's the problem with that. That puts like an attitude like, I have the right of way. Like God is coming down the mountain, you know. I have right of passage. I have the right of way to cut in front of you or slam on my brakes or whatever. I can do whatever I want because I have the right of way. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I get that. It's like, get out of my way or get run over or get ran over in an accident, and then we'll let the legal system figure it out, right? Right? If you're walking and there's a door that's coming up to a coffee shop, whatever, and some other person, you can tell, let's say it's a woman, and you both know you're going to reach the door at the same time. Okay, well, using right-of-way passage thinking, I get there first, I win, tough shit, you lose. Okay. Yeah, I guess. But I'm sure the other person, regardless of gender, is going to think the same thing, right? Well, I'm going to get there first. Because I have the right of way. But you both have the right of way, right? Or so you think. Okay. Listen to this. If you listen to anything that I say, please listen to this. So in the state of Illinois, and I have friends, very good friends that are in law enforcement or were in law enforcement. The state of Illinois doesn't have the right of way mentality, okay? They might be a screwed up, fucked up state and everything else, but in this, they're not, okay? I'm being sarcastic and ridiculous, but there are some good things. There's a lot of bad things too. But in this one, this is really good. Illinois is a state that you will get a ticket and be at fault of an accident for failure to yield the right of way. And you're like, what? Why do you think there's always merging problems? Well, because I got right away and I get to get over there before you do. So, fuck you. As the road rage comes out. And the other person thinks the same thing. So, you're going to run into each other and cut each other off and then let the cop figure out who had right away? And then the insurance company? When you think and you drive and you have the mentality of, I failed to yield the right of way, changes everything. Changes everything. So if you got two cars going at it and there's a merge lane, whoever gets there first wins because I got the right of way. No, you know what? I need to yield the right of way to this other vehicle so they can merge in the lane. It's not a race. It's not a race like everybody treats it. They think the public highways and everything else and the toll system and Interstate 95 and 4 in Florida and 90. I thought people in Chicago drove like assholes, and they don't. But I was there my whole life, so I really had nothing to compare to. Chicago has the best drivers, to my experience and recollection so far, especially compared to Florida and Colorado. They're both horrible. And I think it's because it's the mentality of, I have the right of way. Instead of yielding the right of way. I don't want to turn this down too much because I'm getting a little animated here. Failure to yield the right of way. Okay? So if you're running a company, or let's pretend again with Mr. Rogers, I'm your boss, we're having a meeting, and we need to get these accidents down. So we're going to have a meeting, okay? And we're in the state of Colorado. And I know the law is written that, you had the right of way, so therefore it's not your fault. No, you got to throw that all out, okay? I'm not saying break the law. I'm not saying don't follow the law. What I'm saying is have a change of mental thinking. I want you all to start driving that if you get in an accident, you're going to get a ticket and quite possibly lose your job for failure to yield the right of way to a pedestrian, another vehicle, or whatever happens. And it's going to change your driving habits for the better. Trust me. Because I've done it. I'm like, I yield the right of way to people. Oh, you want to get in? Let me make sure that I lane change in the left lane so you can merge on because I'm yielding the right of way. Not like, oh, go fuck yourself. I was here first. You deal with it. No. You got to be a courteous. Like the example I used, you're racing for the front door of a coffee shop, and so is a woman, and you're like, oh, well, fuck her. I'm going to get there first and I win. It's like, you know what? Why don't you back off a little bit or actually get ahead of her because you're going to tie because you have the right of way, so you can do whatever you want, and so does she. Why don't you put a little skip in your step and grab the door before she gets there and open it and hold it for her so she can walk through it and be a gentleman? You yielded the right of way, and you were respectful and courteous, and you were a gentleman. What's wrong with that? I promise you, if you apply this to your driving thinking, ideology, whatever, and get out of your head, I have the right of way, therefore I win. Well, okay, let's see how that turns out. Instead of I'm yielding the right of way to this person. It's not a loss of power. It's not a loss of confidence. It's respect in being a decent human. And you're actually going to avoid a lot more conflicts and potential accidents because you have the right of way. Just think about it. And I promise you, if you get your guys to think that way, and even you, your accidents are going to drop by at least 25, if not 50% over time. Don't believe me? It's fine. Because what you're doing now ain't working. And there's another example, too. I'm going to use this. So in restaurants, I've been in restaurants at least 43 years doing work. And in the beginning, where there's like, just pretend the back kitchen and the entrance and the exit of the kitchen are like roadways, okay? Well, you can't see coming in and going out, so they put parabolic mirrors up in the corners so people could see if they were going to run into somebody. And then, for the love of God, I don't know why they got rid of them. So then they started doing this. So I'm working on an ice machine or whatever, and I'm in the back kitchen. And they always put the ice machine by either one of the entrances or exits of the kitchen. I have no idea why. One of the highest traffic areas that could possibly be in the kitchen. And I'm working on an ice machine one day. And this was years ago. And it came back. Why, I don't know. But it was like, corner, knife, corner. What? I mean, just literally. And I don't want to get louder than that because the mic's clipping out. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is that? What? And the server is going like, they got the right of way. And just because they say, corner, you better watch out, get the fuck out of the way. Doesn't work. Or knife. Oh, so you're carrying the knife. So that doesn't mean you're going to accidentally run into somebody and, God forbid, stab them with that knife because you're saying, knife, corner. Oh, watch out. Everybody's got to stop because you think you have the right of way. It doesn't work. That's like me driving down the road and I got right of way and I see a traffic light. Oh, traffic light. All the cars got to watch out, man. Watch out. I'm coming through. Or right corner. Oh, watch out, everybody. Tim's coming through. He's got the right of way, and he's announcing it through his window, which would make no sense whatsoever. Just because you announce, I'm here, watch out, I have the right of way, is ridiculous. And they stopped doing it because they know it didn't work, and now they're doing it again. So it doesn't work. You don't have the right of way mentality, and then now you're orally announcing it, auditorily announcing it. So therefore, I proclaimed, I decreed, corner, watch out, everybody stop. They scared the shit out of me. I go, what are you yelling for? There was a video when I was on LinkedIn that I had all the servers doing that stuff. It was fucking hilarious. They were yelling stuff, and then they were doing acrobatics and everything, and it was just hilarious. It doesn't work, okay? However, what does work in a vehicle, and I have a Tesla, okay? I never would think I'd be saying this, that I bought a Tesla, okay? I drove one, and I bought it. Traded in my car. This is a no-brainer. I'm just buying the Tesla. That car has a security system called Sentry, I think. And the car has at least 1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4, if not 6 cameras, maybe including the one that's in the cabin, that only can be accessed by Tesla. And I think that needs a court order or law enforcement cooperation or whatever. Okay? So think about that. You got a front camera, you got a side camera. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6, 7 with the one in the cabin. Let's just say there is. And they're parabolic, fisheye. They're awesome. Great. Those cameras are looking outward into the driving environment, okay? Nowadays, if you have a service truck, you have one stuck in the windshield in the middle looking out, but you also have one looking in, okay? So the perspective is just what's in front of you, and then what is the service technician doing? Because it's got to be your fault that you got in an accident, and you got to prove your innocence because you're guilty. And you're spying on me. You know, I don't need you watching me driving a vehicle. I don't care what the situation is. Just my perspective. Tesla thinks the same thing. What you need is cameras that are looking outward, forward, to the left, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, forward, to the right, 10 o'clock, or that would be 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, whatever, in the sides, which they'll come between the two cameras. You can see that. And what's behind you. And in extreme cases, if it's pretty evident that it's the driver operator's fault, then you can go in and look at the recording for the camera in the cabin. Okay. But that's not how it is. It's like, wait a minute. There's this YouTube channel called Wham Bam Thank You Ma'am. And people send in their Tesla cam USB videos from being in accidents. And every single time when a Tesla owner gets in an accident, the other person gets very aggressive and goes, "Why'd you run into me? Why'd you do that? This is all your fault, this and that and everything else," and blah, 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 blah. And actually sometimes try to get physical, very aggravated, and try immediately blaming you for it. And you just laugh and go, you know what? I already called the cops. I have everything on video, and I'm just going to hand the video, the USB drive, or whatever I got to do to get it in the possession of law enforcement. And that's going to prove it. Or I'll just have the officer watch the video right here in my car. Open and shut case. But if you have a camera that's looking at you and only looking forward, and you get ass-ended or sideswiped, you can't prove that. Because the POV of the camera is not looking at that. It's looking at you. Well, did you brake suddenly? Did you try to avoid the accident? Did you try, whatever? Again, some asshole fucking slide into me or T-bone me in an intersection, and you're worried about what I did in the cabin? Or what happened in front of me? That's tits on a bull. That doesn't do shit. Okay? You need a camera system in every service vehicle that is looking outward, to the left, forward, to the right, back, left back, port, starboard, passenger, driver's side, and the back, and the rear. Well, this can be a lot of money. I'm going to tell you what you save by driving with failure to yield the right-of-way mentality and these cameras on your vehicles, your accidents and claims, your accidents might not go down per se, but the fault of is not going to be liable to you. It's going to be liable to the other person that hit you because you can prove it. No court, no nothing. Here you go, officer. It's right here. Come in here and look at it. Yep. Officer's discretion. Yep. It's pretty obvious that you got slammed by this asshole. I mean, he wouldn't say that, but open and shut case. So there's another thing that you can do, and quit treating your guys like they're already guilty until they can prove their innocence. I got a complaint that I cut somebody off, and out here in Colorado, they just love building 4-lane highways, so 2 lanes go in one direction. And I was in the right-hand lane, and I looked in my mirror, and nobody was there. And all of a sudden, Colorado loves this. There's no left turns in Colorado for some reason. And lanes automatically change from going straight and forward to immediately merging because the lane you're in turns into a right turn only for whatever reason. No sign. There is a sign. It's about as big as a 3x5 card postcard. And it's like, yeah, okay. Oh, I guess it was marked, but sorry, I didn't see it. So I'm going down this road, and then the lane immediately goes into a right turn only. No merge, just right turn. So I got to merge over, and I looked and nobody was there. And then all of a sudden, I had this guy on my ass, like on my bumper. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So then I get a phone call like 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later. I don't know what it was, maybe an hour. They called corporate in Florida, and they go, blah, 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 blah. You got a vehicle, and here's a plate number and this and that. And then, of course, I get accused and yelled at by my boss. We just had a meeting about safe driving yesterday, and I'm really disappointed. I'm 61 years old, by the way, not 16, driving a Corvette or whatever. Oh, really disappointed because blah, blah, blah. They called corporate and said, you did this and you did that. I go, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Because whatever they're talking about didn't happen in front of me. And you can't see behind you in a van that doesn't have any rear windows and back doors. And you got a bulkhead anyway. Sometimes you don't even have a review mirror. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I go, pull up the video on my camera, and I want to know what the hell you're talking about. So they did, and they didn't see anything. And then I thought about it. I'm like, that was that asshole on my ass when I lane changed, because the lane I was in, which I was doing the speed limit, turned into a right only. So I had to get over. And he had to be speeding because he came up on top of me and then accuses me of cutting him off, and I didn't. I can't even knock on wood. I can't even tell you the last time I had a ticket. It's been a long, long time, and I've been in one accident, and that's because I ass-ended somebody because of brake failure, working for my dad, telling him and his partner, we got to get this truck in because the brakes are going out. And then the master cylinder finally failed, and I slammed into some woman who was taking her kids to school. And it was like a 10-mile-an-hour accident. So I've never got in, besides that, in a moving thing. I backed into stuff. I'm not going to deny that. But as far as a moving violation and getting another party involved in an accident, one time since I've been 15 years old. So I think that's pretty good. So over to the safety thing in vehicles, failure to yield the right of way, and cameras that are watching from 7 points of perspective and only use the cabin when it's absolutely necessary, not the go-to. Oh, you're looking at your phone, so it was your fault. What? I'm looking at my phone because it's the only way I can do my fucking job, because you guys won't give me an iPad or all the other things, and I got to do everything on a phone that is this big. And you tell me I got to get it all done or I'm not going to get paid, or all these threats, because everything's on a phone. It's a phone, not a computer or a laptop or a desktop for that matter. It's a phone. And no, I shouldn't be on it. But you make me do all this shit on it, and I don't have a choice. No, it's still your fault. Yeah, okay. Okay. Ladders and vans. Ladders are one of the highest causes of workman's comp cases and injuries, okay? This is all I'm going to tell you. Be really careful with this one, because it happened to me. In my experience, you don't need anything longer or heavier than a 28-foot fiberglass ladder, okay? Now, I'm 180. I work out when I can. I'm not the weakest guy on the planet. I'm not the strongest guy on the planet. However, here's the problem. These ladder racks that are user-friendly or safer are nothing of the kind, all right? Especially if you're driving a Dodge Pro van or whatever they're called, with the extended roofs, because it's nice. It seems that nice probably to office people or engineers that design this shit. You should ask the technicians, but oh, just grab this ladder and then, or not ladder, grab this lever and just pull it down or whatever. And look at that. The ladder goes off the roof down to the side where you can easily access it. Really? Okay. Mind you, most fiberglass ladders are 80 pounds. Okay. 32 feet long. Okay. So you got to get the ladder off of the ladder rack. And unless you're a fucking gorilla or a pretty big, strong guy, you can take the whole ladder, lift it up, and pull it off and put it down because you're the man. Okay? You win. Yeah. Us average strength people can't do that. So you need to get the front of the ladder off first or the back, whatever you desire. Probably the back first. I can't remember how I did it. I know I loaded the front first and then the back, so that's probably how I took it off, which is another challenge. But getting it off the truck, take it off the back, and you got to do this. Okay? Now when you do this motion, I'm not a fucking engineer or even a physical therapist expert or a trainer, okay? But I know that when you go further out from your body, you lose your leverage and your strength, okay? So you're taking a ladder that if you're lucky is here, which it isn't, it's more like up here. So you're taking a ladder and is it all 80 pounds? No, but it's fucking heavy. I don't care. So you take it and you push it and you wrestle it and then it's higher than your reach to get it past the rung, to get it off the rung so you can lower the back end down, and then you got to do the same monkey shit on the front one, okay? Then you got to grab it, and how you ever decide to do that's your business. It's all different kinds of ways of carrying a ladder to the roof edge. Put it into place, extend it, and tie it off, and you're great. Here's a little tip for this bad weather. So this is what I did. Set your ladder up, and of course it's icy and snowy and this and that, and of course, depending on the angle and safe angle and all this crap, there's a chance that your ladder's going to kick out on you, right? Because it's slippery and icy. So this is what I did. I set the ladder up like this, okay? I don't know how to do this because of fucking stuff. Like this, okay? That's the ladder, pretty much, like this, okay? Pretty safe angle. Take my Vance. This ain't going to work. So the ladder's like this then. This is messed up. Take the truck and the bumper of the truck and touch the ladder with it, okay? So then if the ladder tries to kick out, you're not going to move a 5,000-pound minimum vehicle, so it won't kick out. So that's a safety thing. If your boss tells you or insists, you got to get on that roof, it's like it's all covered with ice on it. Oh, yeah, but see, now you're a snow removal person. So we're adding that to your job duties. You got to remove the ice and the snow in the parking lot to get on the roof, okay? That's another thing. How many jobs are you going to get? Anyway, pull the truck up to the ladder till it touches it, and that ladder's not going anywhere. Cameras. OSHA 10 card. But back to the ladder and taking it off. Now, number one, the ladder rack's bullshit. It seems like it's great. Just like when you climb a ladder on a building. And just give me a ladder that has a welded ladder bolted to the wall on the outside of the building. I'd prefer the inside, but for some reason, people aren't building buildings like that anymore. They, just put it outside, don't put it inside. Because I don't like heights. I'd rather climb a ladder inside through a tunnel to get up on the roof than on the outside. That's just me. Heights are heights, but it's the perspective. It's the optics. Give me a ladder that's made out of iron, steel, whatever it is, welded, bolted to the wall, and let me go up it and down it, okay? And give me a full ladder. None of this horseshit where I need another 6-foot ladder to get on top to the first rung of the ladder. That's dangerous too. And I know why they do it, because they don't want people climbing on the roof. figure out another solution. But don't shorten your ladder where the guy can't reach it. Just cause him more potential safety injuries. All right, just put the ladder, full-size ladder on there. Make sure it goes up over the top of the roof and back down the other side if there's a parapet, or safe to get off the ladder onto roof level. Okay. But these new ladders that they put cages around them, well, that makes it safer. No, it don't. Because you know why? Most service technicians carry a backpack, okay? And then the ones that are stupid like me back in the day, I'll just carry my vacuum pump up with my backpack and do it one-handed and just grab the rungs until you get to the top, and you know what? You lean back a little too far and you go up to grab the rung, and your backpack grabs the cage, the safety cage around you, and guess what? It stops you from moving forward to grab the rung because you're doing this shit, you know? And guess what? You're going to fall because of a cage around a ladder that's supposed to keep you safe, which just shows that people that engineer this crap don't know what they're doing. They never climbed a ladder in their life, let alone with a backpack on it. And this goes to the ladder racks on the vans. Now, listen to this, business owners, fleet operators, whatever. Okay, I know how the bean counting works, okay? We get a Ford, Chevy, or Dodge, or whatever, okay? Well, get the best price. We're going to buy this many. We're going to lease them, whatever you're going to do. Okay, yeah, look at that. The spreadsheet looks great. We're saving tens of thousands, $100,000 nationwide. Good for you, okay? So you decide to go with a van that you don't know about, and the Ford Transits are like this, that there's not a lot of options for a ladder rack for those trucks, okay? How would you know? Well, you wouldn't because you're a bean counter, okay? How would you know? By asking a technician. That's how you'd know. Fuck them. They got to clean the toilets. They don't know nothing. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're going to buy a fleet of vans, look at the 3,500, minimum 2,500 Chevy van that's been around since 1998 or 7. Okay? You know why? Because that truck ain't that high, and you can get a Lerner, I think it's Lerner ladder rack off of Grainger.com. Oh, those are too expensive. A ladder rack for a Ford Transit is $3,000 to $4,000. $3,000 to $4,000 just to put a ladder rack. I worked at a company that I needed a ladder, and they go, "Oh, get your ladder rack." And then they looked on Amazon and everywhere else. Holy shit, those things are $3,500. Well, what idiot bought the fucking Ford Transit? You guys say you know what you're doing? Apparently not. So I never got a ladder rack, and I had to use a little giant foldable, pretty much residential, but it's commercial, foldable aluminum ladder to get on roofs, and I was not a happy camper. And I never got a ladder. I was there for like 3 months. Oh, yeah, we're getting you a ladder rack. We're getting you a ladder rack. You'd be cheaper and better off selling that piece of shit Ford and getting a Chevy van. Because you know why? Go on to Grainger.com. I could do it right now if I wanted to. Grainger.com, and all you need is a ladder rack that bolts to the rain gutter, post to post, left to right, laterally, side to side, and then you do it in the front of the truck, and then you got bars going across to those. So you got point, bar in the front, and you actually take the ladder and you shove it from the back of the truck and slide it up and bungee cord it, chain it. I don't give a shit what you do. Wire tie it, strap it, and it's not going nowhere. I have never had a ladder, because I had Chevy vans, and this is what I did. I never had a ladder fall off a truck. Not to mention, it makes great pipe if you're doing an install in refrigeration, 7/8 and 3/8. Just throw that sucker, throw the 20-footers on the ladder, and duct tape the shit out of them, and they're not going nowhere. I drove 100 miles like that doing that. Never had a problem. But you can get the ladder. You just step on the bumper, and you pull the ladder like this, and it comes down. It's like, oh, looky that. Then you get it off far enough, and then you jump on the ground and you grab the ladder, pull it down until it's touching the ground, then get underneath it and grab it, and you can press it like this because you're underneath it, not 3 to 6 feet away from it on the side where you can tear your rotator cuff like I did, which I brought this up to my boss and the VP of operations, and they said, well, corporate doesn't think that's a problem. A couple weeks later, guess what? I tore my rotator cuff. 2 workman's comp cases in 43 years. And the other one was when I was 27 and I hurt my back. Because I went down a ladder backwards and I was stupid. But this one wasn't. It was ignored. I was proactive. I don't think this is a good idea. Some of the guys were bitching to me about the ladder and wrestling with the thing. You didn't have to take it off once a day. You had to take it off almost 3 times a day. Take it off and put it on this horseshit safe ladder rack system. Whereas if you had a Chevy van and you just been doing it the way it's been forever, at the risk of sounding stuck in my ways, but it works. Just the ladder. I was going to look up the Lerner ladder rack on Grainger. Hang on a minute. If it's over $1,000, I'd be shocked. It could be $1,500, but it's not $3,500. Let me go really quick. Gringer. Grainger's a great vendor to partner with. I'm telling you right now. They will get your part by the next day, for sure. Ladder rack. Let me see. Ladder rack. There you go, right there. Van roof mount racks. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? $347.55. Werner. Part number. 3 is in 3. A is in apple. Y is in yellow. 76. Here you go. I don't know if you can see this or not. Probably not because it's too bright. Yeah, well, you're just going to have to trust me. That is really... What if I do this? There you go. $347.55. I just saved you $3,000 per truck. Not to mention workman's comp cases. See, I can't, you could put that in a spreadsheet, but I can't prove to you in a spreadsheet on costs or potential costs or projected costs and show you what I'm going to save you, because you can't do that with workman's comp claims or incidences. You can't do that because it's not viable. It's not tangible. It happens, and then you got to deal with it. So unless you're a psychic or you just got some number or percentage like, well, we're going to have this percentage in accidents and workman's comp claims and all this. You know how many comp claims should be acceptable? 0. Because most of them are when people do something stupid, whether it's the business owner, operator, manager, whatever, or the technician. Somebody did something stupid. Or they didn't listen to their guys, which you want to call that stupid? I guess, I mean, it could be arrogant. But that's all you need. Chevy vans, they're great. You'll get a minimum of $200,000 out of them. If the guys take care of them, don't beat the shit out of them. Get the oil changed every $5,000 using synthetic oil. Brakes get them checked every $25,000. Fleet management's not difficult. And I'm not one of those anal guys, well, your truck better be clean and the inside better be spotless or this or that. Oh, really? Well, let's go look at your desk, Mr. Boss Man, and see how messy that is. Well, what does that have to do with anything? Because your desk is my truck and vice versa. Just because you have a clean truck doesn't mean... When I clean my truck and organize everything, besides parts, but my tools and this and that, or use parts that I throw in the truck or equipment or whatever, if I try to organize that stuff, I can't find anything. But if I just put it where I know I can see it in line of sight and I know where it is because I'm going to use it on the next call, it's there. So what's the problem? Well, the customer might see that. I don't fucking care. I see the back of their kitchen. And in some cases, I'm appalled. But do I call corporate and go, hey, you should really look at this kitchen here? Of course not. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Okay, so that's that. So Werner ladder racks, right here, Grainger.com, 3AY76, book price, $347.55 a pair. $350, even if you pay book price. 28-foot ladder, little giant ladder, and you're good. That's all you need. And no one's going to get hurt. And if they do, then there's something going on. That's all I'm going to tell you. OSHA 10 card, I really, really recommend every technician gets that. Get cut-resistant gloves. I stuck my hand in an evaporator fan. I say this with no pride whatsoever because shit happens. Putting on a high-side port on a Hussmann upright freezer at a Dollar Tree or something. And I thought for sure I chopped my finger off, and I didn't. But I cut it pretty deep. Not deep enough for a stitch or a couple stitches, but deep enough where I was bleeding like a stuck pig. And I firmly believe in cut-resistant gloves. I'm telling you. I never used to until I do and did. Also, safety glasses. If you think your eyeballs are... If you think you're Superman and you can't hurt your eyeballs or whatever, especially welding, you're going to have one eye less, if not two, down the road. I didn't write this down, but I'm going to say this. Any dangerous chemicals, specifically coil cleaners, okay? For me, I don't care what they say. And they get the MSDS sheets and all this kind of crap and everything else. I'm not using any acids. I'm not using base or acidic cleaners on anybody's equipment or my people. You know, you spray it on and the wind comes and like, oh my God. And of course you're not using safety glasses because you don't need them. Not to mention you might get skin burns, in some cases skin grafts, because this shit eats your skin up. The only chemical that I use is ice machine cleaner, nickel safe, and Hoshi's and Manitowoc's, whatever. Any ice machine. In simple green for coil cleaners. And you know why? Because it works. And you also can use it on the evaporator coil. Well, yeah, but there's special evaporator cleaner. Yeah, at what? $30? A gallon of Simple Green's $10 at Home Depot, and it works fine. And I can't prove this, but I heard, allegedly, that when Simple Green was starting out, the president of the company went around to sell it to customers, and he actually drank it in front of the customers. And the worst thing it did is make them run to the bathroom. I'm for that. But you do what you want. I wouldn't. Anytime I'm handed a cleaner or a chemical like that, oh yeah, this stuff's great, Dragon Magic coil cleaner crap. No thanks. I'll use Simple Green. And you can use it inside too on condensing units. I'm not going to say it's food safe, but trust me, you're not going to kill somebody if somehow it accidentally, and Lord knows how that can happen, get on food somehow. Weird things have happened. Oh, and the last thing I got here is a safety harness. And I'm going to talk about working in the cold and I'm done. So if you're working at heights, and even when you're on a roof, according to the OSHA 10 class that I took, you're supposed to have, I don't know the technical terms, but if you're on a roof, you're supposed to have a restraining system that you can't go further than the edge of the roof. So you put like a pole in the middle or a piece of equipment, and you use your rope and you use your harness. So you're walking around, think of it like a dog leash on a tetherball pole or something that's anchored, and you're not supposed to be able to go to the roof's edge, okay? I bought those for my guys. I think they used them for a week. Okay? It's up to you. because the last thing you want to do is not be able to go home to your family. So, but more importantly, your employer should be providing this stuff to you. Okay? And that's it for that. There is a point where you're being ridiculously too safe, and then there's a point where you're not being safe at all, and that's when you get hurt. So don't underestimate what we do, okay? And that's a good segue into extreme weather. I can share all kinds of stories. I'll share a few. We were doing an installation of Buffalo Wild Wings refrigeration in McHenry, Illinois, and it was so cold that the GC said, I can't let you on the roof, Tim. It's against OSHA regulations. I can't let you up there. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what. If I'm not down in 10 minutes, come get me, okay? And he goes, all right, because I got to get this job done. So he goes, okay, listen, I need you to get me out of a jam. There's an electrical chase up there, or boot, or a cow udder, or whatever you want to call it. And I need that covered up because I'm getting that inspected. And the inspector's coming out today or tomorrow, and I need it done to pass. Can you take care of that for me? And I said, yeah, I'm going to be up there anyway. So I took a bottle of water from Starbucks, sat it on a rooftop, and there was 3 of us. And we started heating up the 7/8 and 3/8 copper, hard copper. And one torch, B-tank, would not, turbo torch, would not get it hot enough because I think it was 20 below air temperature. So what we had to do is we had to get 2 torches on it from 2 guys, and then we could braise. Now this water that I put on top of this rooftop on the roof, 20 below zero, was frozen in about 15 minutes, solid. With vinyl roofs and gas piping and all this kind of crap and everything else, if you're up on a roof alone and you don't tell somebody you're on the roof, and even more importantly, if your dispatcher ain't checking in with you every 15 minutes, 20 minutes to see you're okay, I would bring it up. If it's below zero or above 90 or 95 degrees, it's the responsibility of someone in that office to make sure that you're okay. And do whatever you can to ensure that you're okay. But all it's going to take, I was on a roof, I said this yesterday, Schaumburg, Illinois, on the border, I think, on a walk-in freezer. Dark, middle of summer, or middle of winter, ice everywhere, vinyl roof, and I step over a gas pipe, and on my second stepping over it, thank God I cleared it far enough, but I went from vertical position to horizontal instantly and splatted on the roof. And my neck and head were inches away from a 4-inch gas main. Black pipe, malleable pipe. Nobody would have known I was up there. Nobody would have known that, God forbid, what would have happened to me. Minimally got knocked unconscious. This is no joke. Without the risk of sounding like President Biden. I am serious. This is no joke. And I heard this from somebody allegedly, and I'm going to share it. I'm going to let you go because this is enough. Hour and 13 minutes, I think. We risk our life every day making sure people's product is safe. Their buildings are comfortable. They're safe. Their food equipment is working properly, efficiently and effectively and safely. The whole 9 yards. We're doing preventative maintenance. We're doing all this stuff. We are unsung heroes. Okay? We even save people's lives. But you're not going to get a golden star, smiley face, or even a pat on the back. And you know what I'm hearing now, allegedly? So there's a manufacturer that is going to put AI in their equipment. Okay? Be about as vague as I can. And the reason is because you guys asked for too much money to work on stuff. Really. I'm going to do a whole episode on that too. And you're going to find out how much you really make. And when you find out, you're going to be pissed. Okay? As compared to what you should be making. And I will put it all on paper and prove it to you. Because I've done it. just a little teaser, you should be making about $100 an hour. Okay. But no, $35, $40, $50 an hour? What's wrong with you? There ain't nothing wrong with me. We are skilled tradesmen. We are human beings. We are people. We work and bust our ass to make sure that, again, buildings are safe, food supply is safe, food equipment safe, yada, 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 yada. To make sure you're nice and toasty warm, or you're nice and cool and don't drop dead from heat exhaustion in your kitchen while you're cooking on your line. Yeah, and your customers are safe and comfortable. That's what we do. Plus, we install this stuff, and we maintain it, and we get trained on it, and we stay up with the times with it, and we need to drive to your location. Until Star Trek technology becomes a reality, we can't teleport there, okay? And in some instances, it's a rant here, why don't you try getting under a crane with a rooftop, 30-ton rooftop that weighs 3,000 pounds or whatever it is, or a Colpin 35 horsepower semi-hermetic that the only way that compressor can be changed at the mall is with a helicopter. Why don't you stand underneath the helicopter with a 1,500, 2,000 pound, whatever the hell they are, 35, 50 horse Coplometics compressor? Why don't you do that? Why don't you climb that ladder? Why don't you drive that vehicle during rush hour and have the pressure? Where are you at, Tim? What's going? You're supposed to be there, this and that. Well, I'm going for parts, and you said you're at their shop, and they're not at their supply house. Well, you need to be there at 8 o'clock for the customers. Like, yeah, but you people don't know how to communicate. So why don't you deal with that? Why don't you deal with people not showing up on a crane lift because they're sick? Why don't you deal with that when all you're doing is making something made out of metal and electronics? And then you say, you guys are making too much money. Oh, and then you take American jobs and shove them over to Mexico or China because we're making too much money in a factory? What is wrong with you? Where's this camaraderie? And like, look, we're in the same industry and we all have our purpose in our job, or in our cases as technician, jobs to do. Oh, hell, you can do procurement of parts too. I mean, why not? No, I can't. It's not my job. I'm not a procurement of parts. I'm not doing parts. I'm a service technician. Why don't you do that? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to end this. Anxiety with service technicians is through the roof. And you know why? Because we're disrespected. We're not appreciated. Everything's blamed on us. Shit runs downhill. When the office fucks up or customers fuck up, guess whose fault it is? It's yours. So you're a scapegoat. And then you ask for a little bit of raising of money because of inflation or whatever. Oh, nope, you make too much money as it is. And then if you are the sexiest woman in the room, you're going to get a lot of attention. Put it nicely. So if you're a top tech, send Tim. I started at 6 o'clock in the morning so I could get off at 2 or 3. Well, yeah, but it's only 2 or 3. Yeah, but I put my 8 hours in at this company because of labor laws. You don't pay me time and a half after 8 hours. That's my time. That's my time that I can never get back, that I could spend with my family or do whatever the hell I want to do with it. But no. Well, you can't get off till 5 o'clock. Hang on a minute. I started at 6 so I could stay out of the way, take care of the customer, miss rush hour traffic, everything I'm supposed to do. So with the lunch, I get off at 2:30 with 2 10-minute paid breaks at 3 o'clock. Okay? Oh, no, it's only 2. You can't go home. Nobody goes home at 2 o'clock. You need to run to the call. No, I don't. I put my 8 in. 8 and skate. And I hate that. But you're going to make me 12 hours a day and I'm starting my job to stay out of the sun and the heat and get off the roof before high noon and do all the things and address heat stroke and all this crap, and you're going to work me more than 8 hours because I started at 6 a.m.? Are you nuts? And then people wonder why a lot of places are getting unionized. And this is where I'm going to shut up. Business operators, you better pay attention. What you're doing, okay? You're taking advantage of people. And if you don't pay them overtime after 8 hours, well, I don't have to do that because it's after 40. Yeah, okay, keep doing it. Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to have the union on your ass. And then you're going to get unionized. And you're going to pray for the day that you could pay a guy what you're paying him now. Because you know what? And the benefits. Because you're not going to be the union shop as an employee and how you're treated and your insurance benefits and your pay. So you know what? You're screwing the pooch and you're on borrowed time. Just because you're corporate in an office and you're on salary doesn't mean everybody else, well, I got to work 12 hours a day and I don't get paid for that. So, because I'm on salary, so neither do you. I don't know what the mentality is, but it ain't working. And you're going to drive people out of this industry. And once somebody finds out what they really got to do and their jobs, plural, they got to do, being a technician nowadays, they're going to tell you to take your job and shove it in your ass. And then the only other thing that's going to happen besides unionization is this. People are going to start their own company. And they're going to crush you because they don't have overhead. And if you want to do that, reach out to me because I have experience in that. I started with nothing, turned 10 grand into $30 million cumulatively over 20 years. A high of 1.8 mil, 2008 before the meltdown, which was the beginning of my woes and troubles. 10 guys working for me. Most of my guys clearing 100 grand a year. This was over 10 years ago. And not working to death, self-dispatch, the whole 9 yards. I mean, you worked 9 hours, you got paid an hour overtime. And if I had to eat it and I couldn't bill the customer, then so be it. That's what I did. Because there's plenty of ways to make money. And the most important one is no callbacks. You can have a callback rate less than 1%. I talked to my son about this yesterday. 1 out of 100 calls should be a normal, acceptable callback rate. And I can promise you it's way above that. I would say 30 to 50% are callbacks because y'all don't know what you're doing. And I'm not saying the technicians, although that is part of the problem, but you don't have support. And then management doesn't handle callbacks right. You send the same guy. You send the same guy to the same job every single time. And if he has an incomplete and has to put a part in it, he goes back because he owns it. You can't change quarterbacks every play of a football game. You can't change racers in the middle of a race or Moto 1, Moto 2 and change racers on the same bike. You can't change teachers every single day. I don't know what is so hard to understand the concept of send the same guy. And I can promise you, if you ask your customers, that's what they want. They might not say the same company because that's all fucked up and flipped upside down. But just send the same guy that knows what he's doing. And carry high volume parts and give me a price before you fix it if it's like going to be a lot of money. I addressed all those issues way back in 1997. And today it's carte blanche. It's just the way it is. It's default. Anyway, that's it. I'm done ranting. I don't know what the next episode is going to be about. But whatever you do, be safe. Use common sense. Don't kill yourself. Don't try to be a hero. Watch out for hypothermia. Wear a Carhartt's all-in-one, like snowmobile snowsuit. Really good boots. Hand warmers. For gloves, the brown jersey gloves that you get, work gloves that you get at the gas station, I doubled up on them, and my hands never got cold. Never got cold. I know they got these magic mechanic gloves and all this kind of bullshit. If you use them, great. But I'm telling you something. If you got $5 or even $10, I don't know what they cost now. They used to be $2. 2 pair, double them up. Your hands are not going to get cold. And you can work with the gloves on. Get yourself a good flashlight because you're going to run out of daylight. Be careful with your ladder and your ice in driving. And if you feel that it's not safe, don't do the job. I'm just telling you, because you're going to get one chance to get seriously injured for what? For a company that doesn't appreciate you and a customer that doesn't give two shits about you either? This whole industry's changing for the worst. And it's got to stop. But no one wants to listen, so that's fine. Maybe I just do my own thing again and kick ass again. I'm only 61, not 81. But people that are getting in this industry or been in it in your 30s, pay attention to what I'm saying. Because you saw the beginning of all this magic bullshit and software and iPads and this and that and everything else. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It decreases efficiency, causes aggravation, and just gives you another job to do, which you're not getting paid for, that somebody in the office used to do and should be doing. Takes away your efficiency and your happiness, actually, because you only can do so much as a human. So that's that. I'm done. Thanks for watching this. And I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe not. I don't fucking know. Whatever I feel like doing this, I do this. But cold weather got my attention to do this again. So hope you appreciate the information. And I'm not steering you wrong. And someday you know what? I didn't agree with anything Tim said, but you know what? He was right. And it's not about being right. It's the truth. That's what's going on. And you'll find out by hook or by crook. And so are these people that are taking over our industry and think they can do it better when they're actually destroying it. Middle management, private equity firms, whatever. You don't know what you're doing, get the hell out of this business. Please. I'm begging you. Don't drive a race car because you got a bunch of money and you own a race team. Because you're going to kill yourself and probably a lot of other people with you. And that's what you're doing. And if you want to get into the industry, respect and listen to somebody like me and somebody that's done it and been doing it since the day out of high school. And they have a proven resume. I do. And I'm just trying to share it. That's it. Done. Thanks for listening to this. Another episode of Commercial Refrigeration HVAC Essentials. And there you go. And it's a little better with the aesthetics. Put the guitar on the wall, and that's such a good shot of the bed. Except it's a dog bed for my dogs. But at least somebody's comfy. But we'll get more professional. Feedback, comments, share. Please, 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 please. And we'll get this thing rolling. And if I get banned by YouTube for some reason, which wouldn't surprise me, I'll go to Rumble. And that's where everybody goes. And it doesn't matter to me what format or what platform I'm using. What matters to me is getting this out. And that's it. So there you go. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. And be safe and stay warm.